based on the rules that our government have actually made, there is a way as to how you can legally avoid paying council tax. Let me explain more. Hey up everyone and welcome to Political Nerds. I'm Steph the Alter Nerd, your nerdy political guide from Washington DC to Westminster and beyond. In today's video, I'm going to discuss how you can legally avoid paying your council tax. Now, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that. I'm just going along with the rules that the councils and ultimately our government have set up. Now, do your own research, come to your own conclusions. And as a disclaimer, I am not inciting hatred to anyone or a particular group, religion, etc. I'm also not encouraging anyone to illegally avoid paying their council tax. So let's jump into it first and foremost with this. Who is exempt? Who can legally avoid paying their council tax in all its totality? Now, this is from the government itself, gov.uk, and they set out a list as to who is exempt. So you'd have to be under 18 years old. If you're on certain apprentice schemes, you can avoid paying council tax. If you're 18 or 19 years old and in full-time education, if you're a full-time student, whatever your age, at a college or university, if you're under 25 years old and get funding from the Education Skills and Funding Agency, if you're a student nurse, if you're a foreign language assistant registered with the British Council, if you're severely mentally impaired, if you're a living carer for someone who's not your partner, spouse or child under the age of 18, or if you're a diplomat, these are all the people that are exempt, that do not have to legally pay their council tax. So, for example, if you're a 40-year-old and you all of a sudden decide that you want to make a life change, that you want to skill up or train in something else, then if you become a full-time student, then you enter this list of exempt people. People that do not have to pay their council tax. If you become a student nurse, you don't have to pay your council tax. If you're on certain apprenticeship schemes, you don't have to pay council tax. The government is literally giving us a list as a legal way, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, as to how you do not have to pay your council tax. A legal way for you not to pay it in the first place. Now, which type of properties are also exempt from paying council tax? And so this is from the Citizens Advice Bureau, and they say some property is exempt from council tax altogether. It may be exempt for only a short period, for example, 6 months, or indefinitely, like forever. So properties which may be exempt include a condemned property, a property which has been legally repossessed by a mortgage lender, a property unoccupied because the person who lived there now lives elsewhere because they need to be cared for. So, for example, whoever used to live there before has had to move out because they need to be cared somewhere else, such as a hospital, or if they're in a care home, or if they're with their relatives. So, if you are someone who has had to move out because you need to be cared elsewhere, you don't have to pay council tax. A property that's unoccupied because the person who's lived there has had to go to care for someone else elsewhere. So on the other side of the spectrum, if you're a carer who has had to move out of their own home to live somewhere else to care for that person there, you don't have to pay council tax. Any property that only students or foreign language assistants on the official British Council programme live in, which could be a hall of residence or a house, a holiday caravan or a boat if it's on a property where council tax is paid, a property where all the people who live in it are aged under 18, a property which is occupied only by people with severe mental impairment, a self-contained annex where the person who lives in it is a dependent relative of the owner of the main property. So here are a list of all the properties which are exempt. And if you're watching this right now and you're thinking, well, hang on a minute, I identify with one of those. I live in a property like that. I might be exempt. Contact your local council. Now, Age UK actually clarifies the rules further, saying, look, could I be exempt from paying council tax? And they say, look, there are other discounts and exemptions you can claim to reduce your council tax, which might be available to you if, one, you live in a care home or hostel, two, you're in a hospital on a permanent basis, three, your home is unoccupied because you've gone to live somewhere else to provide or receive personal care due to age, illness, or disability. Or four, you or someone you live with has a severe mental impairment, such as dementia or learning difficulty. If you live with someone who has a severe mental impairment, they'll be disregarded and you'll be treated as the sole occupant for council tax purposes. And so again, if you're watching right now and you identify with any of these points, either here or from the Citizens Advice Bureau or from the government itself, right, on this website, if you feel you identify with any of these, then speak to your local council, because by their logic, by their rules, you are exempt. You do not have to pay council tax, or at the very least, you might be due for a reduction. Now, there are rumours going around, and I've seen this online, that those of the Muslim faith are somehow able to take advantage of a religious loophole, resulting in them being exempt from paying council tax. Is this true? Well, make sure you subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe here at Political Nerds, and stay tuned for my next video, which will address that very question. Are Muslims exempt from paying council tax? Thank you so much for everyone that's tuned into this video, though. I appreciate all your faces, and until next time, you guys, laters.